A lot of unanswered questions right now.
Remember, the first of 8 mile-and-a-half races here. Very important for our series to be good on mile-and-a-halves.
We'll find out who the best is tonight at Kansas Speedway as they come out of turn number 4, enter into the trial. The green flag is in the air. We're underway at Kansas.
What a start by Kyle Busch. We talked about him getting out front alone and setting the pace. He's all over that.
Looked like Austin Dillon took a look down underneath Joey Logano. He said, no, no, no. Don't get underneath me here.
Are there 2 grooves? How about 3?
3 wide as they go into 2 and down the backstretch.
That was Hornaday around the outside of the two-lane path, and he went high to do it.
See Timothy Peters, look how much ground he's looking.
Oh, and up into Timothy Peters, and maybe into the wall goes the 30 of Hornaday. Hornaday goes around before they come out of turn 4.
Oh, big crash. Spencer Gallagher in the back of Amon Quiroga.
Timothy Peters got a piece of that as well. He's crawling down the apron right now with smoke trailing from his truck.
See what happens here. Peters up high on the track. We can see Hornaday. Looks like he lets off, and maybe Brennan Newberry was right on him. I don't know that they made contact, though. Hornaday gets loose and loses his truck.
It almost looked like there was a little bit of contact there, because I think Ron Hornaday saw it before Brennan Newberry. He backed off a little bit, and it was just a nudge from the back, but it was enough to get him out of shape.
And you got to, Brennan didn't know what was happening. Ron had a great view of what was going on in front of him. Brennan didn't see it, just tapped Ron maybe.
Spencer Gallagher coming in there. He makes contact with the 77.
Look how lucky Ben Kennedy was going by on the inside. Here's another view of it.
Let's watch closely and see if they do make contact. Yes,
right
there it is.
And that nudge was just enough to move him up off the bottom of the racetrack. If Timothy hadn't been there, Ron may have been okay.
And look at the great job that Quiroga was doing to come through there. Spencer Gallagher, however, didn't get slowed down in time and drove into the back of Quiroga. But, man, the side of that truck's really damaged, Phil.
Yeah, you see him chase his truck up the hill. Hornaday, after that nudge from Newberry, ran up into the 17 of Timothy Peters. And as you mentioned, Spencer Gallagher was the last one on the scene there and made some pretty hard contact.
And look at Quiroga just slipping by Hornaday, but yet the contact from behind. Great camera work, guys.
Yeah,
that's some action right there.
So the first caution comes out before we complete our first lap in the 3rd race of the 2014 season for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Also trying to catch it when he came out of 2.
That was good to see, though, that Brian Eichler was able to maintain some semblance of speed. We got another spinner off of 2.
Around goes 08 of Todd Schaefer.
Can Todd get going again? The caution's not out yet.
The 7 also into the wall. That's Brian Eichler. You see, it's as though the drive shaft came out of the back of that thing.
You know, I wonder if he had debris on his tires, Michael, from being up there high and down at 1 and 2. Got down to 3, expected that truck to stick, and it didn't.
Well, he does. Take another look.
That's Todd Schaefer spinning off of turn 2.
And these were 2 separate incidents.
Yeah, the big contact was down in 3 and 4. Like Phil said, Eichler was up high in 1 and 2. Got to figure it made his truck really difficult to drive when he got down to 3. See if we can zero in on exactly what happened to Eichler.
Again, that's Todd Schaefer in the 08. The 7 of Brian Eichler. He has issues at the other end of the racetrack. Back in comes around, hard into the wall.
That thing snapped quick, didn't it?
Yep, bumper bar that came out of the back.
He was on the outside of Johnny Sauter and got a little bit loose up there. Normally we see the truck on the inside get really loose, but let's ride along with him.
That's very aggressive, Phil. You can hear him on the gas hard.
That's coming off for the lap before with a 19 of Joey Logano on his outside. So we know the truck's a little bit free right now.
Going back into 3 here.
Pretty late in the corner.
See how quick that happens, too? He was wide open. You could hear he'd been wide open for several seconds. And then all of a sudden, the truck just snaps.
A lot of damage. Red Horse Racing, all 3 trucks have been involved in incidents early in this one.
To help him snug that truck up on entry. And we also, during that exchange, caught some chatter talk between Ryan Blaney and his spotter.
Kyle sent a message down here about lap 3 after the restart. He appreciates the honesty off there, too, over there, not wrecking both you guys. He got loose, and you gave him some room. He wanted to say thank you. I give people breaks. That's how you Cup drivers are.
Caution on the racetrack. Wow, Jimmy Weller in the 07.
Just completing lap 49. So
Weller gets loose, laid up off turn 2, and it just went into the outside wall.
saw the 08 also having issues with the second turn.
Phil, if you're Jeb Burton and you've got that hole in the nose this early in the race, do you give up that track position? Put some
up there as well. So all 3 of Thor Sports trucks running side by side.
They were 3 wide, as a matter of fact, entering turn 1.
And here comes Joey Logano, and around goes John Wes Townley right in front of him.
Hornaday's around with some contact from Ben Kennedy, his teammate.
That's a lot of contact from the front of Kennedy's truck. You can see the damage there on the inside. And Ron gets spun around again. Lou Gehrig's disease.
See John West down on the bottom of the racetrack. He's down underneath Taylor Mawson. Jets gets loose. Loses control of that Zaxby's Toyota.
And you can see there.
Looked like Ron might have had a little help getting turned around at exit of 2. He moved down the racetrack to give John West some room. Looked like maybe the 99 of Brian Silas runs into Hornaday, and then Ben, with nowhere to go, runs into Hornaday.
Yep.
See John West, see him get loose down there in the bottom.
Just a bobble, and then it's away it goes and into the outside wall. All that smoke and the guys closing from behind, it's just very little time to react.
Boy, there's just no margin for error here. When these trucks get the least bit loose, around they go.
They just run so hard, Phil. We talked about the fact that the 9 truck should come to pit road after that damage. He didn't. The tire blew out, and it looked like he hit the wall again, and we're under caution.
The right front either.
There he is, but after the right front tire goes down up into the outside wall. Probably have to come back to pit road, Rick, and maybe work on that a little bit more. Clearance that right front.
I think right now.
By side for the lead, continuing at the stripe.
Well, the good news is we're halfway now, anyway.
Ryan Blaney had the edge when they went across the stripe.
Oh, he's going to get loose.
And sideways, Ryan Blaney goes. Does he keep it out of the wall? Brushes the back of that truck. And behind him, he gets hit hard.
Johnny Sauter flew in there.
He might have had some help. Johnny might have got hit from behind.
Yeah, there was 2 trucks that came up on the accident scene.
Ryan Blaney looked as though he was going to save it, at least from hitting the wall hard. And then came the 0-2. What looked as though an easy spin for Ryan Blaney as far as saving it. As you mentioned, he catches the apron up the racetrack.
Just enough to upset that truck.
That's exactly what caused that. He didn't get sideways underneath his teammate. He just was trying to hug that white line, and he got loose. Great job by Crafton, not getting into the back of the 21 truck of Joey Coulter.
As soon as Ryan Blaney gets up there, just kisses the wall with the back of that truck. Looks as though he's going to be able to save it. And then in comes the 98 and the 0-2.
I think the 98 was playing out and going underneath Ryan Blaney. Ryan was up against the outside wall, and something caused him to turn abruptly towards the outside.
And Blaney had that thing saved. I don't believe it would have had enough damage to matter, but you can see Johnny Sauter shoots to the high side. Tyler Young, I'm guessing, got into the back of Sauter and caused Johnny to lose control.
Boy, it almost looked like Tyler Young was in the outside wall. He was up higher than Johnny Sauter, but there still may have been contact there, and that's what put the 0-2 on it. There it is right there.
Yep.
Bam.
They made contact down low, and that shot that 98 up the racetrack just with the same intensity as the 0-2 had.
I think somebody made contact with a 0-2, and that turned him down into Johnny. Johnny was going to be fine, drive by on the inside and miss everything, and I think somebody got into the 0-2 and turned him into Johnny, and that's what turned Johnny into the outside wall. Whew, man.
Yeah, hard right turn there for the 98.
Spot behind Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch still on the track, still leading, but he will have to come to pit road here shortly, as well as Matt Crafton, Taylor Mawson, Joey Coulter, and around goes the 99 of Brian Silas into the wall. That will bring out our 9th caution of the night.
That's going to really hurt Joey Logano. He's going to be able to do the wave around, but he's going to lose a lot of track position to Kyle Busch and Matt Crafton, those guys. See what happens here. John West Townley, the 5 truck right in front of the 99. Looks like John West comes down the racetrack a little bit. Brian had committed to try to go by on the inside and just ran out of room there. And he's going to back that 99 truck up into the outside wall.
Man, what a solid run it was for Brian Silas, too. We went 32 laps before we had a crash that time. Our longest green flag stretch prior to was 20 laps. So Heck, Rick, we're getting pretty low on trucks to crash now.
We're going to be inside 40 laps to go. Maybe we can go all the way to the end green.
Well, we know
about jumping to the outside of Mawson, but Mawson's going to pull up in line in between.
White flag comes out. The 51 of Kyle Busch, a lap away. And the battle continues between the 20 and 32 for that 4th spot. Austin Dillon hanging on to it. Here comes Jeff Burton. He's going to make things interesting.
The next flag will end this race here. Great battle side by side. Now 3 wide almost.
They continue to battle for position. There isn't a battle up front, though. 3-second lead for Kyle Busch over Matt Crafton. Coming across the line. Kyle Busch is going to win at Kansas.
Austin has momentum from the high side. Who's going to get it?
Right at the stripe. Austin Dillon hanging on for the 4th place finish.
What a great battle, though. But we talked about the ringers versus the regulars, and the ringers got him this time.